Welcome back to Pop Art Project Silkscreen Style Part 4. Promise the final part in this project. So all we are doing now is placing our JPEG versions of each of the 4 different varieties of colors we've used for our image, for our pop art image, in our layers panel. I have my background layer that is the document we created. I already placed the first of the images, the first of the 4 images. What I did was pull out guides. I decided I'm going to have my image be a 3 by 3 square. So if the paper's 8.5 inches wide, and I want each of 2 3 by 3 images to fit in there, that's 6 inches. So I'm thinking 8.5 minus 6 is 2.5. Okay, so divide that in half to get how wide my border is on each side. So 2.5 divided by 2, 1.25. So I pulled a rule out from my ruler. Okay, clicked on the mouse or the trackpad or held down on my mouse, pulled out a guide and put it at 1.25. Pulled out another one and put it at 7.25. Okay, because if the page is 8.5, come in 1.25 inches. That would be 7.25. Come in 1.5 inches from this side at 1.5 inches. Now, what I also should have done first is bring out a ruler to divide the page in half completely, so I know how big to transform my image to. So the halfway point of 8.5 by 11, or 8.5, would be at 4.25. I'm going to put that. That's nice because it gives you the 4. Told you in the little indicator there that I was at 4.25. So it looks like I might be a little over on this sizing. So I think what I'm going to do for this time is to zoom in a little bit so I can see it better when I'm transforming the size. I'm going to edit, transform, scale, get my bounding box, hold the shift key down to constrain the proportion, and try to inch that in just a little bit. There we go. It's kind of hard to make it move just a teeny bit, but take your time with it. I'm trying to line it up right on that line. If you're happy with that sizing, click the check to OK it. That looks good. It's nice and within those guidelines. Next, I'm going to File, Place Embedded. This time I'll get my next JPEG, which would be the number 8, I called it. Place that one. Doesn't really matter where you put it. You kind of click to the guidelines, so I know that that's, should be straight on the top and on the side. Again, I'm going to hold my shift key down to constrain the proportion. And I have like one finger down on the left side of the trackpad. That looks good. Kind of lines up all around. You had to hold the shift key down the whole time. Again, when you're on that layer, if you want to just inch it over just a little bit, looks like there's a little white space. Make sure you're on that layer. And then you can use the arrow keys just to nudge it over just a teeny bit. You have to be in the Move tool, which is the first one up there. Okay, I think I'm good right there. All right, and now I'll go get my third image, which would be number 9 for me. Okay. I think I'm going to put that one down here in this space. Okay. I'm going to hold the shift key down while I stretch it. And just line it up with the as best as I can tell on the right hand side with the top, with the image above it. Okay. Scroll up a little bit. I think that's going to be okay. We'll say X. Could use a little more room on the screen. Go just a little bit. I'm okay with that. It's not perfectly lined up with the guideline, but it's, you know, pretty lined up with the image above it, so I'm okay with that for now. I can go back and tweak it if I need to. Go get our last one. File, place embedded. And that would be number 10, the JPEG. And I'll just it kind of snaps into place, you know, holding down my shift key, click on the left side of my mouse, and then on the trackpad, kind of enlarging it. Again, I'm just going to try to match it up with the top image, and it should hopefully line up with the bottom image as well, the one that's already there. Looks good for now, we'll see. Yeah, it looks like it's lined up down here, lined up on the side. This one, my measurement could have been a little bit off of my guideline, so maybe that's it, if anything. Maybe I'll try to stretch this one just a hair more. I'm getting kind of picky now, but you have to be on that layer. So, you know, the thumbnail gives you a little indication. It's hard to see because it's pretty little, but that is that layer. Okay, I want to try to transform this one just a teeny bit. So edit, transform, scale, gives me that bounding box again. I'm going to again hold down shift key, click on the right side of my trackpad, and just try to pull it out just a little bit. Might be really hard to get it. Okay, that is close enough. All right, so now I have a document with the background, my 4 JPEGs placed. All right, I can leave the guidelines there. They're not going to show up on my finished version. And kind of zoom out and see what it looks like overall. Happy with that. Okay. You know, I'd rather have you leave more white space at the bottom and kind of keep the air, you know, equal on the top and the sides. The last step could be adding the text. So I'm going to go to my text tool. All right. I'm going to put my text layer. Maybe I'll say okay, of course it's too big. I think I'm going to just go with black. Okay, and change that way down to, that's good. If I want to move it around, I'm going to just line it up kind of with the side edge, tuck it in there. I really don't want it to be that, maybe even that big. I'm going to change that, go back to your text tool. You have to be right in on the type, which you probably remember from our texture quote. Highlight that. I'm going to even go a little smaller. Okay. Go back to my move tool. I don't know, I just like the name to be, or my name to be lined up with the edge there. Okay. And then I think over here I'm going to name it just because I did that with the other one. You can do it on the same type layer or make a new one. Okay, I'm going to call this okay. This, I think, because it's the title, I might even, we'll put it in italics this time. If there is one. Yeah, there's an italic version. Just because it's the title of my piece, and I wouldn't mind it being a little larger. Okay. I'll just move it again over to the side. I like that. Okay. So now I'm going to save that to save as. I'll keep a, I think I'll go to my finished file now. Save that as a Photoshop document in my finished folder. And save it as JPEG in my, in my finished folder. Maximum, large file, maximum quality. There it is. All right. Now all that's left is to print. So hope this helps, and see you in class.